Alright, just gonna say, I just recorded a 30-minute video of me doing this, and today I wanted to do a review of a horror film. I want to do a review of The Evil Dead. I know this is different. I've never done this on my channel, but I'm a huge horror fan, huge movie fan, and I thought, I want to do reviews of horror films and just talk and have discussions and chat with you guys about them because I enjoy them, and why not? I love this. I should do it. And yeah. And as I just said, I just did 30 minutes of talking about the film and doing this, and my storage filled up, and I couldn't get the recording, so I couldn't even, continue it and be like, hey, sorry for the random cut, my thing just ended. So yeah, that was all gone. But I'm just gonna rush through. Not rush through, but just start quicker. I switched the storage thing. Who cares? You're good. This is good. But yeah. Saw Evil Dead Rise. Spoiler free. Love the film. Great. A lot of fun. It's a good ride. Very fast. Has great tense moments. Don't worry about scares. It's not a scary film, even though the trailer kind of makes it seem like that they have to. The movie is not scary. If you've seen Evil Dead, hey, it's Evil Dead. It's not going to be that crazy with scares. Gore-wise, not that gory, to be completely honest. The remake is much gruesome, and much more bloody and gory and horror, not horror, body gore and stuff like that. This film, from what you see in the trailer with the goriness, that's it. Nothing insane, too much, without going into spoilers. Kind of tame for how this movie and people are saying how it's gonna be gory and bloody, and how the director was saying, like, oh, like, if you saw his Twitter, he was saying, like, oh, these are how I look before and how I look after, and there's bloody and all that. And I'll just say it wasn't from kills or anything of that nature. It was solely, I'm gonna say, be just my opinion, it was solely because of the elevator scene in the trailer with the blood coming out. That was it. Other than that, movie isn't gory. Don't worry about it. It's not crazy. It's not over the top like the remake. The remake was way over the top and way gory and all that. This movie is much more toned down and tame. And yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, scare wise, don't worry. There's not even really jump scares. It's good. I love that. They do have tense moments, but they never go too far with it. It was fun. There was funny moments in it because it's Evil Dead. They cared about the subject material and they use a lot of it. And the movie does feel like a mix of all the Evil Dead films, which is nice. Even the remake, which is cool. And you can tell they use a lot of 1 and 2 in this. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. The cast was great. The mom, Ellie, stood out, was amazing. You can even see that in the trailer. She was the star, and they put her in all the trailers, basically. Like, hey, here she is, and this is cool. And she was amazing. The kids were amazing, too. Even, kid actors. The kid actor casting was amazing. It was insane to see. Good acting all around. And for story-wise, it was good. It was a lot of fun, Nothing, I will say, new really to the franchise. Didn't really bring a whole lot of new things. A little without going into spoilers. But don't expect like a revelation or something mind-blowing with the franchise and lore. They just stick to it and made a great film, entertaining and fun. And yeah, a lot of it I like to talk about the spoilers and stuff. So spoiler free, yeah. Highly recommend. Should go see it. I would give it a 8 out of 10. I was debating on a 7.5 when the movie ended, but then I was like, no, it's a lot of fun. Nothing terrible with it, nothing annoying, or just a little nitpicks for me here and there, but didn't take away from the film. I give it an 8. It was a lot of fun, and I want to rewatch it again. My only thing is if you see it in the theaters, it's very loud. Just prepare yourself for how loud this film is. It's obnoxiously loud. I'll say that. That's my biggest critique, is how loud this film is. It kind of takes you out a couple times here and there because you can't hear what they're saying because it's so loud, and you're like, oh my god, like if you just turned it down, I could hear what the person's saying. But yeah, other than that, yeah, amazing, and highly recommend you go see it in theater. And so yeah, we'll go into the spoiler review, kind of give a little breakdown of the film, and yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, feel free to uh, click off, go see the film, and come back. You know, hit that sub button, hit that notification button, come back. You know, see the rest of this, hear what I gotta say. Maybe we agree or not. And if we don't, you know, I'd love to hear what you say in the comments. Discuss. We can have some fun with it. It's a movie. We should have this. But yeah, go see it. And now we will go into spoilers slash like a breakdown. And here we go. Sorry if I'm all over the place with the film. I did just spend 20 something minutes recapping it, basically through the whole film, and I can kind of, you know, get through it faster now since a lot of it came back in my brain. I just saw the film a couple hours ago, so yeah. Here we go. The film starts off with a little homage to the Evil Dead films with the cabin in the woods, and you see a little bit of it in the trailer with the lake and the dock or pier. I think dock was the better word. And yeah, you see this girl reading a book, just chilling by the lake, just reading. And then you see what is a drone. Spoiler, it's a drone, but it makes it look like it's the demon flying through from its point of view, and you're like, oh no, the demon's gonna get her. And it turns out to be a drone that this guy's flying and messing around with her. They're just talking, and they throw the line of like, oh, your girlfriend, she's like, oh, she's sick in the bed, she's throwing up, and she hasn't stopped, whatever. And you're like, and Evil Dead fans, you're like, oh, hey, that sounds a lot like Evil Dead to me. And then find out, yeah, it's Evil Dead. The girl with the book goes in the room because she's like, oh, your boyfriend's so annoying, can I leave? And making jokes here and there, and the girl's laughing and like not responding, just laughing, not speaking, but like responding with laughs, like giggles. And the girl's just like, I'm just gonna read my book now. And then the sick girl starts reciting pages off the girl's book, and the girl's like, what the hell's going on? She's freaking out because now she's sitting up but facing the other way. Her back's to her, and she falls off the bed. The girl goes over to see what happened, and then in the trailer, the girl, the demon, the deadite, pulls her ponytail, scalps her. The girl starts crawling, or I think she's crawling. You know, she runs to the pier or the dock, and the dude's like, who did this? What's happening? And then the girlfriend, the demon girlfriend, somehow is like, or she not sneaks by, but like walks past them, and then grabs the drone, smashes the drone in her face at the blades, falls into the lake. The boyfriend dives in for her. The girlfriend, presumed, rips his head off because you see his head fly on the dock. And then the trailer, the demon girl floats up, and then in the background it says Evil Dead Rise as it's rising, and it was awesome. And then we get into the film. We see Beth in the like bathroom in the green room backstage of a concert. She's apparently a guitar technician, but throughout the film Ellie calls her a groupie, which, I mean, I believe she is. I think that's what they're implying, is she is that, but she just says guitar technician. But I mean, she's pretty smart with technology or tech and stuff, as you see later on. And she's back in the US and goes to her sister's apartment, and they're chatting, and the sister tells her like, oh, you know, this building's old as hell, they're gonna break it down, so we're packing up everything and going to a new place. Beth the whole time's like, oh, where's the husband? Where's husband? Don't know his name, husband. And Beth's like, they're avoiding it, you clearly know, gone. And and then they're talking, and then Beth is giving everyone like little knickknacks and goodies that she got, and she's like, oh, I got this mug for Joe, I don't know the guy's name, the husband, here's mug for husband, and then everyone gets quiet. Ellie, the mom, is like, hey kids, go get pizza, and run through the kids. You have Ellie, or sorry, you have Cassie, the youngest daughter. You have Bridget, who's like, I'm assuming she's the middle one. I think I could be wrong. Her and Danny's the brother. They seem like the same age, but to not confuse the sisters, whenever I say like young sisters, I'm just gonna say their name, and I'm just gonna say middle sister Bridget is, but or middle kid, but anyway. They leave, go get pizza. Ellie explains to Beth, hey, dad left because he felt like he didn't want to take care of him, just give him child support, I believe. That was the thing. And yeah, basically just to say like, oh, he's not here. A giant earthquake happens. The kids are in the parking structure back with the pizza and stuff, and Beth and Ellie are up top talking. They're having a whole thing like, oh, you didn't answer my calls and I called you, and Beth, you suck, you ignore stuff, blah blah blah. Cliche. The kids are in the parking structure when the earthquake happens. They're panicking, freaking out. People in the Ellie and Beth are freaking out. There's no cell service. They're trying to call the kids, blah blah blah. You see the other tenants, which, surprise, don't see them in the trailer. You see I don't know their names. I don't think they say their names really. But earlier you see these two boys. I think they're brothers. They're brothers. One of them's trying to hit on Bridget to, come over and watch Nightmare on Elm Street, even though they say it's Freddy movies. You know what they're talking about. And there's them. Who their left is this like athletic dude. I don't know his name. He's not a jock by any means. He's just athletic. I'm calling him athletic guy. And a little religious, I believe. I think he is, because he says some prayers when things happen to Ellie, when she turns into the Deadeye and is like dead in the trailer. You see her on the bed. He says like a prayer. And then you have this old dude who's like kind of like the old, typical white old guy. He's cool. He's not like that stereotype or like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something where he's like a racist or redneck. He's cool. He's chill. He's helpful. And he's like, oh, I can't in the vent, something like that. And he's there. They're all trying to help Ellie, like, hey, like, kid. And then the kids come and she's like, oh, kid. And then they're in the apartment. While the kids were in the parking structure, the ground kind of caved in a little, like a hole appeared. Danny was like, I'm gonna adventure in the hole, cause movie. And so he goes in the hole, picks up these vinyls. I'm going to assume there's like 4 or 5 vinyls. I couldn't really tell with the last one what number it was when they showed it. I'm just gonna assume it's 5, maybe 4. But grabs those, puts in his backpack, and it's like this like vault thing. They kind of mention it in the beginning, like a little joke, like, oh, there's a vault, and Danny teases Cassie with it, with ghosts, and then turns out there is a vault, and he goes down, grabs the vinyls, goes further, and there's like a burial tomb thing. There's a hole on the bottom. Danny puts his hand through, pulls out a bag, puts it on top, unveils it, and it's the Necronomicon. He grabs that, puts in his bag, and that's when they head up. They all reunite. They're like, oh, we dropped the pizza. And then jokes. It's fun. It's fine. It's fun. It's, family. Ha. Earthquake. And that earthquake was like a 5.5. I don't know why I'm saying that. Who cares? Earthquake. But yeah. I think they put that in there so like it was an actual one. It had nothing to do with like the book. I think they were just saying like, hey, this was like just an earthquake that just happened. And going through their talking, Bridget is telling Danny like, what the hell is this thing? Danny cuts himself on the book. The book opens because of his blood. Pages, he's flipping through the pages. Bridget's like, this book sucks. Don't mess with it. This is scary. Close it. Don't don't touch this book again. Don't do anything. And he's gonna do it. He's gonna play the vinyl. Um, and he does. Bridget leaves, and he's like, I'm gonna play the vinyl, and he goes on. He's a DJ kid. He has a whole setup, so he puts the vinyl on his turntable. Starts playing it. You can't make anything out. It's very weird. He messes with some of the knobs and stuff, and you can kind of start hearing stuff. And he's like, "What the hell?" And then he puts his finger, and starts spinning it a little faster. And as he's spinning, you can hear what the person's saying, and it's a priest. I forget the name. Sorry, the movie was pretty loud. Again, I've heard a lot of people saying the mixing was extremely loud, and it was. So it was hard to kind of make out a lot of things. But the quick through, the priest was basically just explaining, the first vinyl part one. You hear a priest in like a church. It sounds like a courtroom. It's like a church, I'm gonna assume, like a meeting with a bunch of other priests. And he's like, "Hey, I found the Book of the Dead. We should read this and study it and uncover it and understand this power and just control it and not have anyone go in the wrong hands." And then all the priests are shouting, going like, "No, we should burn it. Get this out of here. This is awful." And then, that's the end of the first vinyl, I believe. He puts on part two, and then the priest is like, "Hey, I took it, and me and these other priests are studying it and trying to translate it." And then he starts reading passages out of it. And then that's when the demon flies through the streets, goes into the apartment. Ellie's making her way to do some laundry, goes into the elevator. And then that's in the trailer. You see the wires flipping around her and grab her. The cliche thing, or not cliche, but the thing from the original ones and the remake with the tree and the vines. It's that, but with the cables from an elevator. And possesses her. Everyone's just hanging out. The mom comes back in. Everyone's like, "The hell, something's up with her." And then she goes in the kitchen. You see it in the trailer. She's throwing the eggs on. She's saying some stuff like something demon stuff, crazy woogie woogie. And then everyone's like freaking out. And they're like, "What's happening?" And then she starts attacking Beth. Grabs a glass shard, stabs Beth through the hand. And again, I said, can we not have the Ash effect? Where everyone from now on, like the remake, they have to have their hand cut off or injured. Like, come on, have the character be their own. Don't have to have this character's the next Ash, or this character's like Ash cause hand. It's like, come on, that's Ash. Don't put his stuff on these characters. Make them different, which they are. This is just a little nitpick thing of mine. But it was a clear nod to to Ash and the rest of the film, the original Evil Deads. And yeah, she has it. She tapes it up. They're all freaking out, like, what the hell's going on? Ellie jumps on to Bridget, has a tattoo gun, marks her, cuts her face with her blood. She stabs herself, pulls it out, and then marks her with it, and then tries again to stab her in the eye, and then Beth knocks her off, and then she basically collapses. I might be all over the place. Again, apologies. It's my first time watching it. It was in a theater. It was very loud, and it was a lot of fun. It was very fast. That's why it's like, might be all over the place, because the movie is very fast. But yeah, they put Ellie in the bed, which you see in the trailer with the fly on her eye, and everyone's like, the athletic dude and the old guy come in. They're like, how did she die? What happened? She's like, she was saying these weird things and then collapsed and blah, and she attacked and blah blah blah. And then yeah, and they're like, oh, she didn't attack that she cooked the egg, vomited, fell on the floor, and then that's when she died. And then when she comes back alive is when she stabs Beth in the hand. But let's just throw it all together, shall we? Yeah, they're like, oh, what the hell? They leave. They're trying to find a way out, because apparently there's a one of the apartments. They have to break open the door because it was like condemned and shut down and closed. So they're trying to break through it to get to the fire escape because for some reason I think this apartment has a fire escape and not the rest. But they're trying to break it down, trying to get to it, and they can't. And then you see in the apartment with everyone, um, the everything with Ellie happens to Beth, and then the Ellie and Bridget thing, and then they are like pushing Ellie out of the room or the apartment. They get her out, and then she starts attacking all the people in the hallway. Which again, this was a very cool scene. They close the door, they're blocking it. You see through the keyhole or eye hole, the door. I believe it's Beth is looking out, and this was a very cool shot. She's just killing everyone, and like it was very cool. Like before that though, she they throw her out, she jumps on the athletic dude, bites his eyeball out, which was weird, but she bites it out, and then this was a goofy scene I didn't like. Sorry, but she spits it out. It's like a goofy, like it flies through and lands in the kid's mouth. Doing the one who has a crush on Bridget lands in his mouth, and he's like, "Woo, woo, woo, woo." And Beth is looking through the eye hole. You see Ellie's chasing the little brother. You see him fly, smack a wall, and his arm's gone. He's dead. Athletic dude starts banging on the door, like, "Let me in." Ellie comes behind him, rips his throat. He collapses dead. Old guy comes in with the famous double barrel shotgun. Evil Dead, have to have it. Comes in, shoots her once, hits her in the stomach. You kind of see it later on. There's like a hole, like not a hole, but like a blood splat there. She kills the old dude. And then she's banging on. You don't see the older brother die, I think. The guy who got the eyeball in the mouth. I don't think you see him die. I could be wrong. Apologies. But he's dead. So I'm just saying that. And then, from the trailer, Ellie's banging on the door saying, "Let me in," all that stuff. And then, inside, they tell Beth about the book and the vinyls. And this is what I hated. Danny and Beth go into the room, and he's explaining what happened. Meanwhile, Bridget and Cassie are in the living room. Cassie just stands up and just walks into the kitchen because she's starting to become possessed by the demon and turn into a deadite. And Cassie's just like, "What the hell?" And that's when you hear the mom in the hallway singing and basically trying to tell Cassie to let her in. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Bridget is like freaking out and trying to like stitch her cut, and then it turns black and like a vein, like venom. She's turning into venom. But black goo comes out of her eyes and nose. Meanwhile, Danny and Beth are in Danny's room. She's like, "Get out of the room. You guys have fun. I'm gonna listen to this on my own. Get out. Here's a knife in case something happens." And I'm like, first off, shouldn't you guys all be together? Like, in a room together? Like, these are kids and you're telling them to go on their own while this insane demon just killed everyone in the apartment level or in the floor, and you're just gonna tell these kids, "Hey, go on your own." To me, that was just a dumb thing, but suspend disbelief. It's a movie. You have to have all this for stuff to happen. And Beth is listening to the last vinyl because she's like, "Hey, if we go to the last one, they'll probably explain how to solve it all," which would make sense. She's listening. The priest goes back on talking, saying, like, the other priests that were helping me, they turned into deadites. Again, sorry, I don't think they say the word deadite. Again, it was so loud, it was very hard to hear. So they probably did, but us as Evil Dead fans, we know they're deadites, so I'm just gonna say that. He's like, "Oh, I locked them in the shed and burnt the shed to try to kill them," and they were laughing in it and dancing. And you're like, "What the hell?" Then he's like, "Yeah, I tried doing this, nothing happened. I tried dismembering them and they still were going at me." And meanwhile, while this is happening, Um, the mom here's like how I mentioned, I did a little of the movie, I mentioned a little tease like, hey, there's a cat in the vent. It comes back, the cat jingles in the vent. The mom looks up, sees the vent, and she smiles. Again, the mom, outstanding in this movie. She looked insanely creepy, and she nailed it. Amazing, amazing all around for her. She goes up in there. Um, Meanwhile, they're like, what the hell? And then they're like talking. Um, I forget exactly, like, they're talking, is in the, no, they're not talking, she's listening, you hear the priest, um, like in the trailer, you see, Ellie coming through the ceiling in the background, where she has the headphones on, she falls down, they have a scuffle, um, I don't know exactly how we get there, again, I'm just gonna mix stuff around, it was very fast, but basically, um, they fight, um, they're fighting and whatnot, um, I think it is Danny or Beth. One of them goes into the kitchen and sees Bridget on the countertop, like facing the wrong way, like standing like the Green Goblin on his glider, like standing there, like chewing on the glass, and that's where you see the glass in the throat from the trailer. She's like mumbling. She's like, blah, blah, something, all your guys' fault. Demons, we're gonna kill you guys. Oh, she's like, oh, there's something. Oh, she's talking to Beth. Beth goes in. She's like, oh, there's something in my tummy, and I'm eating the glass to kill them. What? Don't you know what's in your tummy, Beth? And you're like, we get she's pregnant. You don't have to keep saying this. This is now the like fifth time we've gotten this. Stop, please. Stop doing this in movies. Stop doing the cliche like, I'm not gonna say it until later or reveal it. We already know. Um, yeah. Bridget and her have a scuffle. Um, I think they have a scuffle or something happens and they're fighting. Yes, they're fighting. She knocks her down. The cheese grater scene. She grabs the cheese grater, smacks her foot or her calf, pulls it. Beth now has a giant cheese grater gash on her calf, and it looks kind of goofy. I wish it was a little more like terrifying, but it or gruesome looking, but it wasn't. It just seemed like like they just pulled like like the makeup, and they're like, because it was like a perfect circle, and it was like perfect circle. So I was like, I wish it was kind of more like liney or like more like uneven and stuff, but it was okay. It was still like, ooh, cringe, like you're like, ooh. But yeah, and then Ellie and Beth start fighting. Um, Ellie's on top of Beth. Um, um, Cassie throws these fabric scissors at Beth, or slides them to her, not throws them, safety, slides them. She picks it up, stabs Ellie through the nose, and she slumps over and dies. And then we see Bridget stands back up and is fighting all of them. While Ellie and I think it's while Ellie, I forget. Again, a lot of this I'm mishing together and it's so fast. So apologies. Danny and Cassie are in Cassie's room. Bridget runs through. Cassie has this thing she calls Staphany, which is a doll, a baby doll head on like a stick, and she pulls out the stick part, like goes like that. Bridget's face, basically, she like goes through her head. She pulls it out, falls on the floor and dies, and then you're like, oh no, this is the first of the kids to die. It's sad. You feel bad for these kids because you don't want them to die because they're all great, they're fun, they're entertaining, they're not annoying kids. They're amazing, and you hate it when like when this scene happened. I was like, oh no, like you feel bad. She dies. I believe the mom is also, again, I think the mom might be in the hallway or something or dead. Oh no, the mom's still in the hallway just trying to convince them. while all this was happening, sorry, I'm remembering now. Bridget walked in, saw this, saw Bridget doing that, all blah blah blah. They put a blanket over Bridget. Danny ties her up because he's like, oh, what if she comes back? You know, be safe. Smart. Um, Beth is listening to the vinyls. That's when Ellie comes through the hole. Sorry, it's all coming back. This is all over the place. I just saw the film. But yeah, she comes in. Bridget rises up with the blanket over her. She's going slowly in the background behind Danny and Cassie. Ellie and Beth have their fight. Danny and Bridget have their fight, and Bridget the whole time is like mocking and harassing Danny, saying like, "Oh, this is all your fault. You did this. You suck." Um, she they're in the kitchen fighting. Bridget stabs Danny in the arm. I believe it's the forearm or the bicep. It's gross. You're like, "Ooh, yucky," and then she pulls it out, about to stab him again. We cut back over to Ellie and Beth fighting. Cassie again. This is where she throws the fabric scissors, stabs her in the nose. Meanwhile, in the other room, Bridget stabs Danny in like the chest, like in the heart area. And as he gets stabbed, he shoots this spray onto the stove fire. The fire catches Bridget on fire. She dies again. And then Danny comes out. He's like, "I'm dead." Falls on the floor, dies. And you're like, "Damn, man!" Like another of the kid dies, and it's very sad because Cassie is like seeing this, like seeing him all bloody and like just like on the floor and dies, and they have like it's like a sad moment, and then like, again she's her mom dead again, and then Beth is like, "We need to get out of here," and they her and Cassie run out, go to the hallway. They're trying to get out. Beth picks up the double barrel shotgun, picks up the shells. Ellie comes out, and they're talking. Beth immediately shoots the shotgun, blows off Ellie's leg. She falls on the floor and is like still talking. The old guy is now a deadite. They're all deadites on the hallway, but the old guy is first. He grabs Beth's leg and tries to hold her in place. She then shoots Ellie's arm because she kind of like misses because the old guy grabs her. So she misses, shoots Ellie's arm. She falls on the floor. Beth hits the old guy with the shotgun, hits him in the head. She runs to the elevator. Her and Cassie are trying to like start the elevator, hitting all the buttons, and tense moment. And then there's keys blocking the elevator doors. Cassie grabs them to pulls them back, because in the beginning, when Ellie's in the elevator, she's trying to use it to open up the elevator. So they're on the floor. Cassie picks him up. Elevator doors finally close. Meanwhile, in the hallway, Ellie's on the floor, lying there. And all the other deadites, the brother and sister, Bridget and Danny, and the two brothers, the old guy, and I think the athletic dude, I think all of them are like over Ellie's body, and they're like, this was like the goriest scene in my opinion, and like very like body torture, gruesome, like, ooh, yucky. They're all like putting their hands in like areas in her body, like in her torso, and it cuts to like the Necronomicon, and it's like I could barely hear a lot of what the priest was saying, but it was like, oh, something like they're coming into one or something, and it shows a picture of a like a dude with a bunch of arms coming out of him. And it looks like, if you've played the game Scorn, it kind of looks like that in a little bit. And then they look out through the elevator window, they're gone, and she's like, "Oh my god, they're not there," or something. What the? Start it. The lights turn on, they hit the basement thing. While all this is happening, the elevator's filling with blood from the bottom up. Beth tries to bang the top open to try to like climb out of the elevator. She bangs it. You see like in the trailer you see like all the arms come through, and she's like, "Oh god," and then the elevator collapses because of all the weight, and we're back in the parking structure in the basement now. They're finally there. Beth and Cassie, they run to the car, they go in there, they start it, they open the parking structure gate to leave. They're driving. As they're driving, a part of the ground from the earthquake, there's like a hole. the tire gets stuck in it. They can't move. They're freaking out. Cassie's like, they're in here. She's in here. They get out of the car. You then start to see that it's just the Scorn thingy, the giant thing. The best way, if you haven't seen anything of Scorn or like the whole arm things, another perfect example is like the movie Hellraiser. The giant baby thing that's in the hallway chasing, I forget her name, apologies, chasing her. It looks exactly like that thing in a way. Like that's the best way I can put it. It looks like that. It's just a not as big. It's pretty big. It's just Ellie with a bunch of arms, and it's revealed in a little bit that Bridget and Danny are on her back, and their heads are like Venom, like how Venom's head pops out of Eddie. It's like that. Like Bridget and Danny's like kind of like their torsos are there, but like their heads are like popped out, and Ellie's chasing Cassie and Beth. The door starts to close, and Beth is like, let's just run. Let's just get out of here. They start running. They try to slide under the gate. Beth makes it. Cassie, as she's going under, Ellie grabs her, pulls her back. The gate closes. Beth is like, oh no, gotta get back. Beth tries to lift the gate open, can't. We cut to inside this like a U-Haul truck kind of thing. It's the old guy's truck, because he mentions in the beginning how his truck has tools in it. So we're in there. Cassie is on the corner like crying. You start seeing the figure of Ellie, the giant abomination deadite thing, come closer to her, and then it's revealed Bridget and Danny are on her. And Ellie's like, oh, join us. Like, finally, we're gonna kill you and you're gonna be part of us. It's gonna be one big thing. And Ellie's like freaking out, or Cassie's freaking out. Beth the whole time is like trying to break open the side, like this cage to get in. Ellie pulls out a chainsaw, revs it up, and is like, time to kill you. We're gonna rip your head on, cut your head off, and put you on us. And Beth finally breaks through, jumps on top of this wood chipper that's directly behind the U-Haul truck, or just tool truck thing. Shoots the shotgun at Ellie. The chainsaw falls. She turns around, and Beth has a funny one-liner. It's like a goofy, like Evil Dead one-liner. I don't know sorry, I don't remember exactly what she says, but it was like it was funny. It was like, oh, funny one-liner. And then as she says it, Ellie like throws the chainsaw at her, and she like dodges it and falls on the floor. And it's like a little funny comedic thing. And then she gets up. Ellie, and when I'm saying Ellie, the deadite, I remember that Bridget and Danny are on her, but I'm saying Ellie because it's her. She's the one talking and all that. Ellie is fighting with Beth. She's pulling her into the wood chipper. Ellie's pulling Beth into the wood chipper to kill her. Cassie's freaking out and scared in the corner, and then she runs over, shuts it off. Beth kicks out, escapes, stands up, revs the chainsaw, and then Ellie's on the wood chipper, somehow like inside of it now. She's like, oh, we're gonna fight, kill you, you suck, you're a groupie, you're dumb, you stink, insult, baby insults. And then Beth is like, no, you suck, you're a demon, you were lame. And then she's like, Cassie, turn it on. And she turns the wood chipper on, uses the chainsaw, and like basically like pushes her in. Danny and Bridget go in first. They die. Blood's like splattering all over the place, and like going through and like falling like rain. And then it's going down. And then Ellie's like says like, oh, you suck. Bethy something calls her nickname that Ellie gives her, and she's like, only Ellie can call me that, not you. Then does the cool freaking roundhouse kicks the head into the wood chipper. Meanwhile, Cassie's like on the floor, like in the fetal position, like crying and screaming, because remember, these are her brothers and sister this is her brother, sister, and mom. Literally, their blood and guts and is falling over her, and it's like, oh my god, I feel so bad for this person, this girl, this kid. And then yeah, kicks the head in, the heroic thing. It goes in dead, and then Beth and Cassie are walking out. You see the chainsaw on the floor. They stop. Beth picks it up, and you're like, "Ooh, chainsaw, Ash, cool." They leave. Um, Cuts back inside. You look at the. They go into the interior of the car. Look at the keys, and you see a photo of all the kids on like Splash Mountain or something. They're on like a roller coaster ride, and you're like, "Oh, this sucks." And fade to black. Cut back to the next day because again in the beginning after the Evil Dead Rise thing, the title card, it says one day earlier. Now we go to the present day or the next day. We see the demon, the Deadite girl from the beginning. She's getting out of her apartment. She's FaceTiming the book girl. She's like, "Oh, we're going to the lake. It's gonna be so much fun." And the book girl's like, "I don't want to go. This is gonna suck. I want to read book at home." And then demon girl's like, "Come on, it's gonna be fun." She's not a demon at this point, but she's like, "Come on, it's gonna be fun. I'm picking you up. Shut up." And then she hangs up. Meanwhile, she's like walking through the parking structure with like there's like concrete all over the place. There's blood and guts, and she's just walking past it. I was like, no way. But yeah, and then when she hangs up, she finally notices it when she's like going to put her car in drive. She's like, "What the hell?" And then she gets out of the car for some reason and is like panicking, like, "What is going on in here? Why is all this happened? What happened?" And then the demon thing, the camera thing, flies and hits her, and then that's how she became that's how she became possessed and is now a deadite in the beginning. So it all comes full circle, and it was cool. So yeah, that was the whole movie basically. There was a little parts here and there I forgot about maybe, and again a lot of like the lore things with the priests was very hard to hear. Again, my main critiques, it was very hard to hear with how loud it was, and also a lot of like just the one goofy scene with the eyeball was like it just didn't land for me. That's just a personal opinion, like thing preference. I just didn't find it funny or anything. It was like it was just like it was something you would see in like a scary movie or something. So yeah, it wasn't good, that part, but it was fine. And then the other nitpicky thing is how they were all split up in the apartment. I just thought that was dumb. But again, suspend disbelief. It's a horror film. You have to have all this happen for the movie to happen. But yeah. No post credit scene or anything, so don't worry about that. No Bruce Campbell thing. Again, not in this. Forgot to mention that he's not in this. Ash is not in this. Nor mentioned or anything, I believe. I mean, who knows? You could have heard something maybe over in the, I don't know. But the vinyls were in 1923 or something, I believe it said. The priest said 1920 something, I believe, or something like that. Again, hard to hear with how loud the movie was, which again sucks because a lot of the times when the mom was talking in the demon voice and yelling about something, with how loud the film got, you couldn't make out what she was saying. So that was the one thing that was like, oh, it sucked. If there were subtitles, it would have been fine, but it's a movie theater. Don't really want subtitles in the theater. But it was just so loud you couldn't hear what she was saying, and the same thing with the priest on the vinyl. You just couldn't make out a lot of what he was saying. Again, I don't know if that's all theaters. I do know I was watching a review of another channel, like shout out to We Watched a Movie. Mike was saying that in his theater also, and apparently it's a Sam Raimi thing, he loves his movies loud. And as Mike said, the movie was very loud, and that was the only thing, in my opinion, as well. It was very loud. I wish it was toned down, like turned down a little bit, but it was cool. It was fun seeing this in a theater. Highly recommend it. If you can't see it in a theater, highly recommend you just wait for the film to come out and rent it. It was worth the watch. It was worth it. I'm going to watch this again when it's out and digital or streaming something. I would love to watch this again and see it all and be able to hear it better. in with subtitles so I can just pick up things. But yeah, that was the Evil Dead Rise, or Evil Dead Rise. I'd give it again an 8. Um, a lot of fun watching. When I watch it again, I don't think the like again with a lot of reviews, especially that we watched a movie with Mike. He said, oh, when he watches it again, he doesn't think it'll go down. He thinks it can only go up. His review or his score. I agree. I think it can only go up. Maybe a little bit, not too much, but yeah. I was again debating on a 7.5. But I'm giving it an 8 because I just had so much fun. And yeah. Um, uh, See it for yourself. A 7.5 wouldn't even be bad if someone you heard that from someone that is great, especially for horror film. But yeah, sorry, this is a very long video, but hey, who doesn't love a long video of people talking about movies? But yeah, see it for yourself. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of the film, what you liked, what you didn't like. If you would love to see a sequel, continuing this, I'd be amazing to get more Evil Dead, especially like a continuity thing with something finally coming, being canon, and not like how the remake was like building up to a future thing and it just didn't go anywhere, which sucks. But I would love to see more with this. I just want more Evil Dead. This was amazing. This was fun. I don't know if I said if I would where I would rank it, but um, I'm in the I believe I'm in the minority. I don't like Army of Darkness. I was never attracted to it. I watched it. I tried watching it a couple times and like just giving another chance. Like, oh, maybe I just didn't like it, or was in a bad mood or something. I just don't like it. I don't. It's not enjoyable to me. In my opinion, I think it's the weaker of the series. It's cool. It's fun. It's more Ash, but I just don't like it. So I'd put Evil Dead 2 is my favorite, and then it would go Evil Dead, and then I would say Evil Dead Rise. I think this is better than the remake, just mainly to the fact that it feels more Evil Dead. It brings a lot of the Evil Dead factors, like the comedy, the humor in it, the horrorness, the tense moments. There was a lot of tense, cool moments in this film, where I feel like the remake was more focused on gore and like body torture, and not enough on the Necronomicon and the lore with that, which I feel like this was like the opposite, which I prefer because I love that. I love learning more about a movie franchise and like the lore in it. So yeah, see it for yourself. I recommend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you like this, and discuss more films. And yeah, thank you guys. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this and you want to see more. Let me know in the comments if what you think of this and what movies I should do in the future. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.